Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope you're having a brilliant day. Now today guys, I'm going to be repotting my Mammillaria carmenae cactus plant that I absolutely adore. This is like a little teddy bear and it is desperate to be repotted because I've not repotted this probably for a couple of years. Now the roots aren't coming through the bottom as such, but the soil I've got it in I'm not really happy with. It's a soil that I used probably a couple of years ago now. It was a John Innes one, but the brand I didn't particularly like. So I want to change the soil and pot it up into a little bit of a bigger pot. Now, before I go any further, I want to give a special thank you out to my wonderful fiancé Hansi, who's behind the camera filming me. So thank you, Hansi. And do go over and subscribe to his wonderful YouTube channel, Family of Cactusy and Other Beauties. Links up above. Now, I've already made a video on how to repot a cactus, and in that video I showed two different examples. So if you're new and you've never repotted a cactus before, do check my video out. This isn't necessarily a how-to video, this is just a bit of a video sort of vlog of me repotting on this particular type of Mammillaria. And so do check the video out, links up above to how to repot a cactus if you don't know. And I showed two different examples in that video. Now this one here is a very easy cactus for me to repot. It's nice and furry and soft. It does actually have very, very tiny spines coming out the areolas here, but it is actually one that you can actually touch. It doesn't bite you. And this is called Mammillaria carmenae for the obvious reasons. It has a lovely sort of caramel colour to the lovely spines. It's absolutely beautiful cactus. And every spring it has a ring of beautiful white creamy flowers all around it. But it didn't flower this year for me. But we have had a particularly bad summer this year. It's been horrible, very wet and grey. So maybe that's why. But it normally flowers every year. But as I say, cacti and succulents can be very unpredictable. But other than that, it's a very healthy plant, as you can see here. Loads of pups. Beautiful. And I've had this for absolutely years, guys. I think possibly, I would say when I was in my early 20s, I've probably had this plant now for about 25 years. And when I did buy it, it was about that size in a little tiny pot. And it's multi-pupped over the years. And very happy with it. It's a very healthy plant. I usually repot it every couple of years. So it's time for a bit of a freshen up into fresh soil and a new repot. Now what I like to do when I repot cacti, as I mentioned in my how to repot a cactus, I like to just go up into the next size pot. If I was to pot this cactus into a big huge pot, then there'll be a lot of soil around the roots, and when it comes to watering them, sometimes too much water, so the soil can retain too much water and it can be prone to rot. So it's always safer to under than over pot. As you can see, that's clearly the next size up here. And I like to make my own cactus and succulent soil mix. Reason being is I like to know exactly what goes into it. Also, it saves a fortune on buying commercial cactus and succulent mixes because a lot of the cactus and succulent mixes you get, they're pretty much okay, but they're often very highly priced. And I've bought bags in the past, I've opened them, they've been full of flies and just junk really. So by making my own, I save money and I know what goes into it. And I like to use 3 equal parts of a loam-based soil. In this case, I use a John Innes, but any type of loam-based soil. Perlite or grit, in this case I'm using grit, and horticultural sand. 3 equal parts, and I explain more. I've made a video on how to make your own cactus and succulent soil in 3 easy steps. So if you haven't seen that video, links up above to that as well, and I explain what I use and how I make it. But the most important thing is that when it comes to repotting cacti and succulents, to use a well-draining soil mix. Lots of us growers have their own preference when it comes to the soil mix. Hansi likes to use peat, I prefer to use loam, but it really doesn't matter as long as the soil is well draining. And as I say in that video, I just explained how I like to do it. So I've already got the next size up, a little bit of soil in the bottom there. And then I'm very lucky with this one. If you're obviously repotting a very spiny cactus, you need to use some cardboard. Gloves I personally find are not really very good when it comes to repotting cacti because spines go straight through gloves. But cardboard is good. That's what I like to use. But in this case, it's a very sort of soft, furry one. Very friendly cactus, doesn't bite me. And now getting it out of there, very easy. Sometimes when it comes to clay pots, you sometimes have to break them if the roots are very stuck to the sides, rather than ruin the roots on the cactus. And as you can see here, I wasn't happy with the soil that this was in. I don't know why. As you can see, I just don't like it. So this plant hasn't really been thriving since I repotted it a couple of years ago. So it should be good with a couple more bit more soil in, bit more better quality, I think. Now, what you want to do when you do repot a cactus and succulent is to check over the root system, because they're very prone to vine weevil and root mealybugs. And you'll know when root mealybugs have attacked, as you'll see. Sometimes there's a load of like a bit of a blue or pink hue all around the roots. Now, although there's white here, I can clearly see that's perlite, because I'd used perlite when I repotted this. So that clearly isn't mealybug. If I show you there, if I was to get a piece of this, squeeze it, that's clearly perlite, you know. With mealybug, it will either go pink or a bit of a green or a bit of a sticky or a bit of a like a juice coming from it. That's how you know. But that's pretty good. And the root system isn't tangled. If this was very tangled and compacted, I would gently tease the roots away and then repot with the roots more loose. But as you can see, the roots aren't matted there, so there's no problem there. What I'm going to be doing is just gently teasing away a little bit of the soil from the base of this cactus to get it a little bit looser there. But personally, the less I prefer to touch the root system, the better. And then we gently putting this in here, like so. And you want to make sure that obviously the next size up, as I explained, and the soil goes all around the edges of the pot. This particular cactus, now Mammillaria, quite hardy to a point, but this particular one, this is the Mammillaria carmenae, is quite rot prone, because obviously it's multiple pupped. And it's a little bit more of an exclusive type of Mammillaria than some of the more commonly seen ones. If it's overwatered, they can rot. So it's very important. This is why I'm using a clay pot for this. I just prefer to do that. And it's always best to repot a cactus if you have the choice during the spring, summer or early fall, autumn time, when the plant is sort of actively growing. I wouldn't really recommend repotting in the dead of winter. Now, I know a lot of growers that do repot in winter. They find it's great because there's not so much to do with the plants and they just repot. But if you do that, make sure you keep the plant completely dry until the following spring, because if you repot any type of cactus in the dead of winter and then you just go and water it, it will inevitably rot. Now, although this is summer here, late summer, I'm still going to keep this plant dry for about 10 days before I water again, because it's just something I prefer to do. I know some growers sometimes water straight away, no problems, but I always prefer to just let the new roots from the cactus to acclimatise into the new pot and soil over a few days before I water again. Remember, these plants do store water, so they're not going to die without being watered straight away. And then after about a week to 10 days, I'll start to slowly introduce a bit of water to this cactus again. As I say, it's still summer here, late summer, so no problem. But if I was repotting this plant in the winter, I wouldn't water it at all until the following spring. So just bear that in mind, guys, when you're repotting your plants. So there we go, Mammillaria carmenae. And what do you think, guys? Do you think that's a beautiful cactus? I do. And I like to put crystals around my plants because I love crystals, big cactus and crystal fan. So I like to use them around my plants there. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to know a little bit more on how to grow cacti and succulents, if you want to check my website out, please do. desertplantsofAvalon.com, and hover your mouse over the growing tips, be a drop down bar, different sections, and how you can care for cacti and succulents. And a big thank you again to Hansi for filming. So guys, I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of cactus power from across the Emerald Isle. And until the next video, bye. Thanks for all your support, guys. I really appreciate it.